Hello everyone. Welcome back to MindPop English. I am Jennifer, your host for today. If you are new here, I would like to tell you that we upload a new English learning video every day on our channel to help you improve your English faster. Imagine this. You're sitting in a cafe in New York City. A friendly stranger sits down next to you and asks, "So, what's your favorite movie?" You open your mouth to answer, but suddenly, you don't know what to say. You know the movie's name, but how do you describe it? How do you explain why you love it? At that moment, you realize describing things in English is not just about words. It's about expressing yourself clearly and confidently. In this lesson, you're going to learn exactly how to describe anything in English, step by step, from the most basic beginner level to advanced, natural, and fluent descriptions. By the end of this video, you'll be able to describe objects, people, places, experiences, and even your own feelings with confidence. And the best part, you'll be able to do it in a way that makes people want to listen to you. Now, why is this so important? Because life is full of descriptions. Think about it. When you meet new people, you describe yourself. When you travel, you describe the places you visit. When you talk about your favorite food, you describe the taste. If you can't describe, your English feels empty. But once you can describe, your English becomes alive. It becomes colorful, and people understand you better. So, let's start with the very basics. How do you describe something in the simplest way? At the beginner level, describing usually means using basic adjectives. Adjectives are words like big, small, beautiful, fast, slow, hot, cold. For example, if someone asks you, "What's your house like?" you could say, "My house is big," or "My house is small." That's it. Very simple. But even with just one word, you're already painting a picture in the listener's mind. But here's the secret. You don't need complicated words to sound good. Even simple adjectives, when used correctly, make your English powerful. For example, imagine you say, "The food is good." That's okay. But if you say, "The food is delicious," suddenly, your English sounds stronger. If you say, "The food is very delicious," and the soup is really hot, your description becomes richer. You've added layers. So here's a simple formula for beginners. Subject plus be verb plus adjective. My car is fast. This book is interesting. The weather is cold. And if you want to add more, you can use intensifiers like very, really, so, or extremely. For example, my car is very fast. This book is really interesting. The weather is extremely cold. Already, with just a few words, you're describing like a pro. But we're not gonna stop there, because real life is more than just one adjective. Imagine someone asks you about your best friend. If you only say, "She is nice," it feels too short. The listener wants more. They want a picture. So how do we do that? Let's move to the next level, adding details. Details are the secret to good descriptions. At this stage, we use not just adjectives, but also phrases. For example, instead of just saying, "My best friend is nice," you can say, "My best friend is really nice. She always smiles, and she helps people whenever they need her." Do you see the difference? Now, your listener doesn't just know she's nice. They understand why she's nice. That's what makes your English more interesting. Here's another example. Someone asks, "What's your city like?" Beginner answer, "It's big." Better answer, "It's big." and it's very crowded. The streets are always busy, and there are many tall buildings. Even better answer. It's a big, crowded city with tall skyscrapers, busy streets, and people from all over the world. Each time, the description grows. Each time, the picture in the listener's mind becomes clearer. And that's exactly what we want. Now, here's something important to remember. Good descriptions don't just use adjectives. They use the 5 senses: sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. If you describe with the senses, your English becomes alive. Let's practice together. Sight. The mountain is covered with white snow. Sound. The music is loud and exciting. Smell. The bread smells fresh and sweet. Taste. The soup tastes salty but delicious. Touch. The blanket feels soft and warm. With the senses, you're not just telling information. You're giving the listener an experience. You're taking them into your world. And this is where most learners stop. But if you want to sound advanced, if you want to sound natural, like a native speaker, there's one more step. You must use comparisons, metaphors, and emotions. That's what makes your descriptions powerful. Let's start with comparisons. Instead of just saying, "The beach is beautiful," you can say, "The beach is as beautiful as a painting," or "The beach is more beautiful than any place I've ever seen." Suddenly, your description has impact. It feels strong, emotional, memorable. Metaphors are even better. Instead of saying, "The night is dark," you can say, "The night is a blanket of darkness." Instead of saying, "She is smart," you can say, "She's a walking encyclopedia." These expressions are advanced, but they're also fun. They make your English colorful. And emotions. Emotions are the heart of every description. Don't just describe what something looks like. Describe how it makes you feel. For example, "The coffee shop is small and quiet. When I sit there, I feel calm and relaxed." Or, "The music is loud, and it makes me feel excited and full of energy." That's when your descriptions connect with people. Because language is not only about words, it's about feelings. So let's summarize what we've learned so far. Step 1. Use basic adjectives. Step 2. Add details and examples. Step 3. Use the 5 senses. Step 4. Use comparisons and metaphors. Step 5. Add emotions. This is the roadmap to describing anything in English, from beginner to advanced. And in the next part of this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to practice each step with real-life examples so you can improve your speaking today. But before we continue, let me ask you, if someone asked you right now, "What's your favorite place in your hometown?" How would you describe it? Think about it. Try to use at least 3 steps from the roadmap. Say it out loud. And don't worry if it's not perfect. Practice is what makes progress. In the next section, I'll guide you through specific exercises to master descriptions. We'll practice together, and you'll see how fast your English can grow when you learn to describe. Stay with me, because this is where the fun really begins. Welcome back. In the last part, we discovered the roadmap to describing anything in English, starting with basic adjectives, adding details, using the 5 senses, making comparisons, and finally, adding emotions. Now, it's time to take this roadmap and practice it step by step. In this section, I'm going to guide you through real examples and exercises that will train your brain to describe naturally and fluently. Remember, Description is not memorization. It's a skill. And like any skill, the more you practice, the stronger it becomes. Let's begin with the first step. Basic adjectives. Imagine I show you a picture of an apple. If you are a beginner, your description might be very simple. It's red. Or, it's big. That's fine. But it's too short. So, let's make it better. Instead of just one adjective, try 2 or 3. For example, it's a big, red, round apple. Now, suddenly, the listener can really see the apple in their mind. You can also use and to connect adjectives. It's red and sweet. These small additions already make your English sound more complete. Here's a simple practice. Pick any object near you right now. It could be your phone, your pen, your cup, or even your chair. Look at it carefully. Ask yourself, what color is it? What size is it? What shape is it? Then describe it out loud. For example, this is my phone. It's small, black, and very light. Try it right now. Pause this video if you need to, and give it a try. This kind of exercise builds your description muscles. Now, let's go one step further. Details. Details answer the questions. What else? What does it do? Why is it special? Let's go back to the apple. Beginner level. It's red. Better level. It's red, sweet, and juicy. When I bite it, the juice comes out, and it tastes fresh. Do you see what happened? We added action. We added experience. The description is not just a label anymore. It's a story. Here's another example. Object. A pen. Beginner answer. It's blue. Better answer. It's a blue pen with a silver clip. I use it every day for writing my notes. It's smooth and easy to hold. That's a strong description. It gives the listener a clear picture, almost like they can see the pen themselves. That's what you want to aim for. Now, let's bring in the 5 senses. This is where descriptions come alive. Sight. What does it look like? Sound. Does it make a sound? Smell. Does it have a smell? Taste. If it's food, what does it taste like? Touch. How does it feel? Let's try this with something simple, like coffee. Sight. The coffee is dark brown, almost black. Smell. It smells strong and rich. Taste. It tastes bitter, but also warm and comforting. Touch. The cup feels hot in my hand. Sound. When it's poured, it makes a soft bubbling sound. That description uses all 5 senses. Suddenly, the listener doesn't just know what coffee is. They can almost taste and smell it themselves. That's powerful English. Let's do a quick practice together. I'll describe something, and I want you to guess what it is. Ready? Listen carefully. It's cold. It tastes sweet, and it melts quickly in your mouth. It comes in many flavors, like chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry. You usually eat it in the summer. What is it? Of course, it's ice cream. See how the description helped you imagine it without me saying the word. That's the magic of the senses. Now, let's move on to comparisons. Comparisons make your description stronger by connecting something new to something the listener already knows. For example, describing a car. My car is as fast as a rocket. Or, the street is noisier than a marketplace. With as, or more than. Your descriptions suddenly have power. Try to think of simple comparisons when you describe something. For example, this chair is as soft as a pillow. Or, this street is busier than the one near my house. But here's a tip. Don't only use serious comparisons. Have fun with them. Play with your language. For example, my dog eats faster than a vacuum cleaner. It's funny, but it also paints a very strong picture. People love this kind of description because it's creative and memorable. Finally, let's add emotions. Emotions make your language human. Without them, your description feels like a textbook. With them, your description feels like a story. Let's go back to the coffee example. Without emotions, the coffee is hot and bitter. With emotions, the coffee is hot and bitter. But when I drink it in the morning, it makes me feel awake and ready for the day. See the difference? The second version tells the listener how the object connects to your life. And that's exactly what keeps people interested. Here's another example. Describing a park. Without emotions, the park is green and quiet. With emotions, the park is green and quiet. And when I walk there, I feel peaceful, like I can escape from the busy city. That's what makes descriptions powerful, when they carry your personal feelings. Now, let's put everything together with a full description. Listen carefully. This is my bedroom. It's small but cozy. The walls are painted light blue, and the bed is soft with a white blanket. When I open the window, I can hear birds singing in the morning. The room smells fresh because of the flowers on the table. When I sit on the bed, I feel relaxed and calm. It's not a big room, but it feels like my safe space, my little world. That description used adjectives, details, senses, comparisons, and emotions. This is exactly what you should practice if you want to describe anything in English at a high level. So, here's your exercise for today. Pick one thing in your home. It could be your kitchen, your living room, your bag, or even your shoes. Describe it out loud using the 5 steps. First, adjectives. Second, details. Third, senses. Fourth, comparisons. Fifth, emotions. Say it slowly. Then try again with more fluency. Do this every day, and I promise your English will grow faster than you imagine. In the next part, we're going to take these skills and apply them to describing people. You'll learn how to talk about friends, family, teachers, or even celebrities in a way that makes your English sound natural and interesting. We'll go step by step with real-life examples so you can describe anyone with confidence. So don't stop now. Keep watching, because describing people is one of the most useful skills you can learn. And trust me, it's going to change the way you speak English forever. Now that you know how to describe objects, places, and things around you, it's time to move on to one of the most important and useful skills in English, describing people. Think about it. In daily life, you talk about people all the time. Your family, your friends, your favorite celebrities, even yourself. And if you can describe people clearly, you can connect better, make conversations more interesting, and express your ideas with confidence. But here's the challenge. Describing people is not just about what they look like. Yes, appearance is important, but personality and behavior are just as important, sometimes even more. So in this part, I'm going to show you how to describe people in a simple, natural, and complete way. We'll go step by step, from beginner to advanced. Let's start with appearance. At the most basic level, you can describe people using simple adjectives: tall, short, young, old, fat, thin. For example, she is tall, or he is short. That's a good start, but it's too short. The listener doesn't get a full picture. So, how do we make it better? Add more details. For example, she is tall and slim, with long brown hair. Or, he is short and strong, with short black hair. Notice how we're now combining height, body shape, and hair. That already gives us a much clearer image. Now, let's add clothing. Clothes are a very easy way to describe someone. For example, she is wearing a red dress and white shoes. Or, he is wearing jeans and a blue t-shirt. When you describe clothes, use the structure he/she is wearing plus clothing. This is very natural in English. You can also add details. She is wearing a beautiful red dress with small white flowers. The more details you give, the more alive your description becomes. Let's practice with a full example. She is tall and slim, with long brown hair. She is wearing a red dress and white shoes. She looks very stylish. That's already a great description for appearance. But now, let's move to something even more important. Personality. Personality is what makes people unique. Words like kind, friendly, funny, serious, shy, confident, creative. These words tell us about someone's character. For example, my brother is very friendly. He always smiles and talks to everyone. Or, my teacher is strict, but she is also very fair. Personality words bring your description to life because they tell us not only what someone looks like, but who they are inside. Here's a simple tip. To describe personality, think about how the person behaves. What do they usually do? For example, she is very generous. She always shares her food with her friends. Or, he is hardworking. He studies late every night to pass his exams. These kinds of sentences are powerful because they don't just say a word like generous or hardworking. They show it with an example. That's the secret to sounding natural in English. Now let's combine appearance and personality. My best friend is tall and slim, with short black hair. He usually wears jeans and a t-shirt. He is very friendly and funny. He tells great jokes, and everyone loves being around him. Do you see how natural and complete that sounds? You're giving a full picture of the person, both outside and inside. This is what makes your descriptions interesting. But we can go further. Remember the 5 senses. They also work for describing people. For example, sight. She has bright blue eyes that shine when she smiles. Sound. His voice is deep and calm. Touch. His handshake is strong and firm. Even smell. Carefully. She always wears a perfume that smells fresh and sweet. These details make your description real, almost like the listener can meet that person in their mind. Now, let's talk about advanced techniques. Comparisons and emotions. Comparison. She runs faster than anyone in my class. Or, he is as patient as a saint. These expressions make your description stronger and more memorable. Instead of just saying, she is fast, you compare her to others. Instead of just saying, he is patient, you use a creative comparison. These are the tricks native speakers use all the time. Emotions. Don't just describe the person. Describe how they make you feel. For example, when I'm with my best friend, I always feel happy and relaxed because she listens to me and makes me laugh. Or, my father is strict, but when he gives me advice, I feel safe and guided. These emotional layers make your English deep and meaningful. They turn a simple description into a story. Let's do a complete description together. Listen carefully. My grandmother is a small, elderly woman with short gray hair and warm brown eyes. She usually wears a simple dress and comfortable shoes. She is very kind and gentle. When she speaks, her voice is soft, and it makes me feel calm. She is also very wise, and she tells amazing stories about her life. Being with her always makes me feel safe and loved. Do you see how much power that description has? It's not just words, it's a picture, it's an experience, it's full of love and feeling. That's exactly what you should aim for in your English. Now, let's practice. I'll give you 3 questions. Answer them out loud, using the techniques we learned. How would you describe your best friend? How would you describe your favorite teacher? How would you describe a famous person you admire? When you answer, try to use appearance, personality, examples, senses, comparisons, and emotions. It might feel like a lot, but remember, the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Here's one more tip. When you describe people, avoid being too negative. English speakers usually focus on positive or neutral descriptions, especially in social situations. Of course, sometimes you need to describe someone's bad habits, but do it politely. For example, instead of saying, "He is lazy," you could say, "He doesn't like working hard." It's softer, and it keeps the conversation friendly. So, let's summarize. Step 1. Describe appearance, height, hair, clothes. Step 2. Add personality, kind, funny, serious, creative. Step 3. Give examples, show the personality in action. Step 4. Use the 5 senses: sight, sound, touch, smell, taste when relevant. Step 5. Add comparisons and emotions. Make your description strong and memorable. In the next part, we're going to take these skills and apply them to describing places. You'll learn how to talk about your hometown, your favorite travel destination, or even a simple cafe in a way that makes people imagine being there with you. This is one of the most exciting parts, because describing places opens the door to storytelling. And storytelling is what makes your English unforgettable. So don't go anywhere. In the next section, we'll turn you into a master at describing places in English. In the last section, we learned how to describe people, their appearance, personality, and the way they make us feel. Now, let's move on to another very important part of English communication: describing places. Why is this skill so useful? Because in real life, we talk about places all the time. We talk about our hometowns, our schools, the cities we visit, restaurants we like, or even the room we are sitting in right now. If you can describe a place clearly, you can share your experiences and make your listener feel like they are right there with you. So how do we describe a place in English? We'll use the same roadmap we've been practicing: adjectives, details, senses, comparisons, and emotions. But this time, we'll add one more element: structure. A place is bigger and more complex than an object or a person. That means your description needs organization, so the listener doesn't get lost. Think of your description like a tour. You are the guide, and you take the listener on a journey through the place. Let's start with something simple: adjectives. At the beginner level, you can describe a place with very basic adjectives: big, small, beautiful, crowded, clean, dirty, modern, old. For example, my hometown is small, or the park is big. That's a good beginning, but it's too short. So, we need to add more details. Let's expand. For example, my hometown is small but very beautiful. There are green fields and a river that goes through the town. Notice how we added not just adjectives, but also extra information. This creates a clearer picture. Now let's talk about structure. When describing a place, you can organize your description in 3 parts: the general view, the specific details, and your personal feelings. General view. What is the place in general? Big city, small village, modern school, old house. Specific details. What does it look like? What can you see, hear, smell, or feel there? Personal feelings. How does the place make you feel? Why is it important to you? Let's practice this structure with an example. A park. General view. There is a park near my house. It is not very big, but it is beautiful. Specific details. There are many trees, a small lake, and a playground for children. In the morning, you can hear birds singing. In the evening, you can smell food from the small restaurants nearby. Personal feelings. I love going to this park because it makes me feel peaceful after a long day. See how this structure keeps your description clear and easy to follow. It guides the listener through the place step by step. Now let's use the 5 senses. This is the secret to making your description come alive. Sight. The streets are full of bright lights and tall buildings. Sound. You can hear cars, buses, and people talking loudly. Smell. The air smells of fresh bread from the bakery. Taste. In the market, you can taste delicious fruits and snacks. Touch. The sand on the beach feels warm and soft under your feet. When you use the senses, your listener feels like they are traveling with you. They don't just hear your words, they experience them. Let's practice with a city description. General view. New York City is one of the biggest cities in the world. It's crowded, busy, and full of life. Specific details. The streets are filled with yellow taxis and tall skyscrapers. Times Square is covered with bright screens and advertisements. In Central Park, you can hear music, laughter, and the sound of people walking on the gravel paths. Senses. The smell of hot dogs and pretzels fills the air. If you buy a slice of New York pizza, you can taste the cheesy, delicious flavor. The subway feels hot and crowded, while the breeze near the river feels cool and fresh. Personal feelings. New York makes me feel excited and full of energy. It's noisy and sometimes stressful, but it's also inspiring. It feels like anything is possible there. That description doesn't just give facts, it gives an experience. And that's exactly what you should practice. Now, let's try a different kind of place. A quiet village. General view. My grandmother's village is small and peaceful. Specific details. The houses are simple, and most of them have red roofs. There are rice fields all around, and the mountains are visible in the distance. Senses. In the morning, you can hear roosters crowing. The air smells fresh, and sometimes you can smell wood smoke from the kitchens. The ground feels cool when you walk barefoot. Personal feelings. Whenever I visit this village, I feel relaxed and free. Life is slow there, and it makes me forget about stress. Do you see how different that feels compared to New York City? That's the power of description. It can create 2 completely different worlds with words. Now let's talk about comparisons. They make your description stronger by helping your listener understand better. For example, the village is as quiet as a library, or The market is busier than a festival. These comparisons are simple, but they make your English colorful and interesting. And of course, don't forget emotions. Places are not only about what they look like, they are about how they make you feel. For example, the beach is beautiful, but what I love most is the calm feeling I get when I sit and watch the waves. Or, the cafe is small, but it feels like home because the owner always greets me with a smile. Emotions make your descriptions personal and memorable. Now, let's practice together. I'll give you 2 exercises. Exercise 1. Describe your bedroom. Start with the general view. My bedroom is, then add details, colors, furniture, sounds, smells. Finally, add your feelings. When I am in my bedroom, I feel. Exercise 2. Describe your favorite travel destination. Use the same structure. General view, details, senses, emotions. Try to speak for at least 1 minute. Don't worry if it's not perfect. The goal is practice, not perfection. So, let's summarize the steps for describing places. Step 1. Start with a general view. Step 2. Add specific details about what you see. Step 3. Use the 5 senses to make it real. Step 4. Add comparisons for creativity. Step 5. Share your emotions to make it personal. In the next part, we're going to learn how to describe experiences, not just objects, people, or places, but moments in your life. Experiences are powerful because they combine everything we've learned: details, senses, comparisons, and emotions. When you can describe experiences well, you can tell stories that people want to listen to. And storytelling is the key to mastering English fluency. So stay with me, because part 5 is going to take your English descriptions to the next level. We've described objects, people, and places. Now it's time to move on to one of the most exciting parts of learning English: describing experiences. Why are experiences so powerful? Because they combine everything. When you describe an experience, you use objects, people, and places all together. You use the 5 senses. You use comparisons. And you share emotions. And most importantly, experiences are stories. People love stories. Stories keep listeners engaged, curious, and connected to you. If you can describe experiences well, your English will sound natural, memorable, and alive. So, how do we describe an experience in English? The key is to think about 3 parts: what happened, what it was like, and how it made you feel. Step 1. What happened? This is the basic information. What was the event? Was it a trip, a celebration, a class, or maybe just a simple day? Start by giving the listener the context. For example, last summer, I went to the beach with my friends. Or, 2 weeks ago, I had a birthday party at home. Simple, clear, and direct. That's the beginning of your story. Step 2. What was it like? This is where description begins. You add details, senses, and comparisons. For example, the beach was beautiful. The sand was white and soft, and the sea was clear and blue. We played games, swam in the water, and ate delicious seafood. The sound of the waves was so relaxing. Notice how we're not just saying what happened. We're painting a picture with words. Step 3. How did it make you feel? This is the heart of your description. The listener doesn't just want to know what happened. They want to know what it meant to you. For example, I felt so happy and free because I could spend time with my friends. and forget about stress. Or, it was one of the most peaceful moments of my life. Emotions make your experience meaningful. Now let's practice with a full example. Imagine you want to describe the first time you traveled by airplane. You might say, "The first time I traveled by airplane was 3 years ago. I was very nervous before the flight because I had never been on a plane before. When the plane started moving, my heart beat fast. But then, when we went up into the sky, I looked out the window and saw the clouds below me. It was amazing, like flying through a dream. The sound of the engines was loud, but after a while, it became relaxing, almost like white noise. I even smelled the food they served, which was simple but exciting for me. When we landed, I felt proud of myself. I wasn't afraid anymore. That trip gave me confidence, and I will never forget it." Do you see how that description works? It begins with what happened, then describes the details with senses, and finally shares feelings. That's how you build a strong, natural description of an experience. Now let's try another one. Describing a celebration. Last year, I went to my cousin's wedding. It was in a big hall with beautiful decorations. The lights were soft and golden, and the tables were covered with white cloth. The music was loud and cheerful, and people were dancing happily. The smell of delicious food filled the room. Roasted chicken, fresh vegetables, and sweet cakes. I wore my best suit, and I felt a little nervous at first. But when the bride and groom entered, everyone clapped and smiled, and I felt so excited. The whole night was full of joy, laughter, and love. It was a wonderful experience. Again, notice the structure, the event, the description, and the feelings. This is the formula you can use for any experience. Here's a simple exercise for you. Choose one memory from your life. It could be something big, like a holiday or a school event, or it could be something small, like a dinner with your family. Write down 3 things: what happened, what it was like, details and senses, how it made you feel. Then practice saying it out loud. Don't worry about being perfect. Focus on painting a picture. Focus on sharing the feeling. This is how you turn language into connection. Now, let's talk about comparisons and emotions in experiences. Instead of just saying, "The concert was loud," you can say, "The concert was so loud. It felt like the music was shaking my whole body." Instead of just saying, "The mountain was high," you can say, "The mountain was so high. It looked like it touched the sky." These comparisons make your descriptions dramatic and unforgettable, and emotions never forget them. Emotions are what make your story human. For example, "I was scared at first, but then I felt proud." Or, "At the beginning, I was nervous, but later I felt excited and happy." These changes in emotion are what make a story interesting. They show growth, transformation, and real life. Now let's try a full advanced example. Describing a graduation day. My graduation day was one of the most memorable experiences of my life. It happened in a large auditorium, filled with hundreds of students and families. The stage was decorated with flowers, and the lights were bright. I wore a black gown and a cap, and I could hear the sound of applause echoing all around me. The smell of fresh flowers mixed with the excitement in the air. When I walked across the stage to receive my diploma, my hands were shaking, but my heart was full of pride. I saw my family in the audience, clapping and smiling, and I felt an incredible mix of relief, happiness, and gratitude. That moment was not just a ceremony. It was a celebration of years of hard work. And it gave me courage for the future. That's the kind of description that keeps listeners interested. It's not just facts, it's a living story. So let's summarize the steps for describing experiences. Step 1. Start with what happened. Step 2. Add details with adjectives, actions, and senses. Step 3. Use comparisons to make it stronger. Step 4. Share your emotions before, during, and after. Step 5. End with meaning, why the experience matters to you. Now it's your turn. Think about one experience you had this week. Maybe you cooked something new, went somewhere interesting, or met someone special. Use the 5 steps to describe it out loud. Practice slowly first, then again more fluently. The more you do this, the more natural it becomes. In the next part, we're going to take everything we've learned so far and apply it to describing abstract things, not just objects, people, places, or events, but also ideas, feelings, and concepts. This is the most advanced level, and it's what separates learners from fluent speakers. If you can describe ideas and feelings clearly, you can express yourself like a true communicator in English. So don't stop here. Join me in the next section, and let's unlock the final step in mastering descriptions. We've practiced describing objects, people, places, and experiences. Now it's time to step into the most advanced level, describing abstract things. These are not things you can touch or see. They are invisible, but very real. They include ideas, feelings, beliefs, and concepts. If you can describe these well in English, you can communicate at a much deeper level. You can explain your thoughts, share your emotions, and connect with people in a powerful way. So, how do you describe something that isn't physical? The secret is to use 3 strategies: examples, comparisons, and emotions. Strategy 1. Use examples. Abstract ideas can feel too big, too vague, but when you give an example, people immediately understand. For instance, if you want to describe happiness, don't just say, "Happiness is a good feeling." That's too flat. Instead, say, "Happiness is when you wake up in the morning and feel excited about the day. It's when you laugh with your friends until your stomach hurts. It's when you finish a project you worked hard on and you feel proud." By using examples, you make abstract ideas real. Strategy 2. Use comparisons. We've already used comparisons for objects and places. Now we use them for ideas. If you want to describe fear, you could say, "Fear is like a shadow that follows you, even when there's no danger." If you want to describe hope, you could say, "Hope is like a small light in the dark. It's not big, but it gives you the strength to keep moving." These images help the listener see the invisible. Strategy 3. Use emotions. Abstract things are usually connected to emotions. If you want to describe freedom, you might talk about how it feels. Freedom feels like taking a deep breath of fresh air. It feels like running across an open field with nothing to stop you. The key is to connect the idea with human experience. Let's practice with some of the most common abstract ideas in English: love, fear, hope, success, and time. Love. How can you describe love? Start with examples. Love is when a mother wakes up in the middle of the night to take care of her baby. Love is when a friend listens to you even when they are tired. Love is when you give without expecting anything back. Then, Add comparisons. Love is like fire. It can warm you or burn you. It's like a river always moving, always changing. Finally, emotions. Love makes you feel safe, but also vulnerable. It makes life more beautiful, but sometimes more complicated. Fear. Fear is something everyone understands. Fear is when you stand in front of a crowd and forget your words. It's when you hear a strange sound in the dark. It's when you think about failure and feel frozen. Comparison. Fear is like a cage that locks you in. It's like a storm that arrives suddenly. Emotions. Fear makes your heart beat fast, your hands sweat, and your body want to escape. Hope. Hope is powerful. Hope is when you study hard because you believe you can pass the exam. It's when you send out your job application and believe someone will answer. It's when you're sick, but you believe you will recover. Comparison. Hope is like a seed, small, but it can grow into a tree. It's like the sunrise. It promises a new day. Emotions. Hope makes you feel stronger. It gives you energy to keep going, even when things are difficult. Success. Success can mean different things for different people. Success is when you achieve your goals. For a student, success might be getting good grades. For an athlete, success might be winning a medal. For a parent, success might be raising happy children. Comparison. Success is like climbing a mountain. It takes effort, and sometimes you fall, but the view at the top is worth it. Emotions. Success makes you feel proud, but also teaches you to be humble. It gives you satisfaction, but also shows you the importance of the journey. Time. Time is abstract, but we live with it every day. Time is when a child grows into an adult. It's when a day passes quickly or slowly, depending on how you feel. It's when memories become stories. Comparison. Time is like a river, always moving forward, never stopping. It's like sand slipping through your fingers. You can't hold it. Emotions. Time can make you feel nostalgic, remembering the past. It can make you anxious, worrying about the future, or it can make you peaceful if you live in the present. Now let's look at how to describe feelings themselves. Sometimes students say, I feel good, or I feel bad. That's a start, but it's not enough. English has so many words for feelings. Instead of good, you can say happy, excited, calm, confident, or relaxed. Instead of bad, you can say sad, angry, frustrated, tired, or worried. The more specific you are, the more powerful your description becomes. For example, instead of saying, I feel happy, you can say, I feel proud because I finished my homework. Or, I feel relaxed because I just listened to music. Notice how we connect the feeling to an example. This makes your English more natural. Here's a practice exercise. Choose one abstract word, maybe friendship, courage, or freedom. Write down 3 examples, 1 comparison, and 1 emotion connected to it. Then practice saying it out loud. For example, with friendship, examples. Friendship is when you share your lunch with someone. It's when you support your friend after they fail. It's when you laugh at the same joke 100 times. Comparison. Friendship is like a bridge. It connects people across distance. Emotion. Friendship makes you feel safe, understood, and never alone. Do you see how powerful that is? With just a few sentences, you can turn an invisible word into something everyone can feel. So let's summarize the process for abstract descriptions. Step 1. Give examples. Step 2. Use comparisons or metaphors. Step 3. Connect to emotions. Step 4. Practice with common words like love, hope, success, and time. This is advanced English, but anyone can do it. All you need is practice and creativity. In the next part, we'll take everything we've learned, describing objects, people, places, experiences, and abstract ideas, and we'll practice them together in real-life speaking situations. You'll learn how to combine these skills into conversations, presentations, and storytelling that sound natural and confident. So stay with me, because the next step will bring everything together into one powerful communication skill. We've learned to describe objects, people, places, experiences, and even abstract ideas. But here's the real test. Can you use all of these skills in real-life situations? Because that's the ultimate goal. It's not about knowing grammar or memorizing vocabulary. It's about communication, speaking naturally and confidently in daily life, in conversations, in presentations, or even in storytelling. So in this part, I want to give you practical practice. We're going to look at 3 real-life situations: casual conversations, presentations, and storytelling. In each one, I'll show you how to bring all the skills together. Situation 1. Casual conversation with a friend. Imagine you're talking to a friend who asks, "How was your weekend?" A beginner might answer, "It was good. I went to the park." That's fine, but it doesn't keep the conversation alive. Let's use our description skills. Here's a better version. My weekend was amazing. On Saturday, I went to the park near my house. The park was full of families and children playing. The air smelled fresh because it had rained in the morning. I walked around the lake, and I could see the reflection of the trees in the water. It was peaceful, and I felt calm. On Sunday, I met my cousin, and we talked for hours. Spending time with him reminded me how important family is. Overall, my weekend gave me energy and happiness. Do you see how that answer is not only descriptive, but also emotional? You talk about the place, the people, the experience, and the feeling. This makes your conversation interesting and engaging. Here's a simple tip. When you answer a casual question, always try to include one detail about the senses, one comparison, and one emotion. That formula will instantly make your answer more powerful. Situation 2. Giving a presentation. Let's say you're in a class or at work, and you need to present an idea in English. For example, you want to describe why learning English is important. A weak presentation might sound like, "English is important because many people speak it. It helps you get a job. It helps you travel." That's true, but it's not memorable. Let's improve it with our skills. English is more than just a language. It's a bridge that connects people across cultures. Imagine standing in an airport. You see people from different countries, with different backgrounds, and yet they can all communicate in English. That's powerful. English opens doors to jobs, because companies need people who can connect with the world. It also opens your mind, because when you read books or watch movies in English, you understand new ideas directly. For me, learning English has been like opening a window. Before, my world felt small, but with English, I can see further, connect deeper, and dream bigger. Notice how we combined an abstract idea, importance of English, with comparisons: a bridge, a window, examples, airport, jobs, books, and emotions. Dream bigger. That's what makes a presentation impactful. When you prepare for a presentation, ask yourself, how can I show, not just tell? Use senses, examples, comparisons, and emotions. That's how you move from a flat presentation to a powerful one. Situation 3. Storytelling. Storytelling is everywhere. In conversations, in interviews, even on YouTube. If you can tell a story with strong descriptions, people will listen. Here's a simple example. Telling the story of your first day at school. A short, weak version. My first day at school was scary. I met new people. Then it was okay. That doesn't make the listener feel much. Here's a descriptive version. My first day at school is still clear in my memory. The building looked huge, and I felt so small standing in front of it. The smell of new books and chalk filled the classroom. I remember the sound of children's voices, loud, curious, a little chaotic. I felt nervous. My hands were shaking, and I didn't want to leave my mother's side. But then, my teacher smiled at me and said, "Welcome." The one word made me feel safe. By the end of the day, I had made my first friend, and I felt proud. What started as a scary day became the beginning of something wonderful. This story is much stronger because it combines description of place, the building, the classroom, senses, smell, or sound, emotions, nervous, is safe, proud, and meaning the start of something wonderful. The secret of storytelling is this: make your listener see what you saw, feel what you felt, and understand what it meant to you. Practice exercise. Now it's your turn. I'll give you 3 prompts. Choose one and practice describing it out loud, using everything we've learned. Prompt 1. Describe your favorite holiday. Prompt 2. Describe a challenge you faced and how you overcame it. Prompt 3. Describe a dream you have for the future. When you practice, remember the formula. Use details about objects, people, or places. Add senses. What did you see, hear, smell, taste, or feel? Use comparisons like as if, it felt like. Share emotions before, during, and after. End with meaning, why the story matters. If you follow this structure, your stories will not only be correct English, but also powerful communication. Summary: real-life situations give you the chance to use all your skills. In casual conversations, don't just answer with facts, add details and feelings. In presentations, don't just give information, give images and emotions. In storytelling, don't just tell events, make people feel them. That's how you describe anything in English, not just with grammar and vocabulary, but with life and meaning. In the next part, we're going to go even further. I'll give you advanced practice with interactive questions and role plays. We'll simulate real conversations and challenges, so you can learn not only how to describe, but how to respond, adapt, and shine in real communication. So don't stop now. The next step is where you really put your skills to the test. So far, we've built a strong foundation. We've practiced describing objects, people, places, experiences, and abstract ideas. We've combined them in conversations, presentations, and stories. But now, it's time for the most important step: practice. Because learning English isn't just about listening, it's about using the language. In this part, I'm going to give you role plays and interactive dialogues. Imagine you're speaking with me. I'll give you questions, pauses, and prompts. Your job is to answer out loud, as if we are in the same room. This way, You'll practice not only vocabulary, but also fluency, confidence, and creativity. Role play 1. Meeting a new friend. Imagine this situation. You meet someone at an English-speaking event. They ask, "Where are you from?" You could answer simply, "I'm from Vietnam." But let's make it stronger. "I'm from Vietnam, a beautiful country in Southeast Asia. My city is full of motorbikes, street food, and busy markets. The smell of grilled food is everywhere in the evening, and people often sit outside, talking and laughing. It's noisy but full of life, and I love it." Now it's your turn. Answer the question, "Where are you from?" Try to add one detail about what it looks like, one detail about the senses, and one emotion about how you feel living there. Pause here and speak out loud. Role play 2. Talking about a person. Your partner asks, "Who is someone important in your life?" A short answer would be, "My mother," but let's expand. "My mother is one of the most important people in my life. She has kind eyes and a warm smile. She always listens when I have problems, and her advice is gentle but powerful. When I was younger, she stayed up late to help me with schoolwork, even when she was tired. For me, she's like a lighthouse, always guiding me in the right direction." Now it's your turn. Think of someone important to you, a parent, a friend, a teacher. Describe how they look, what they do, and how they make you feel. Pause and speak now. Role play 3. Describing an experience. I ask you, what's one experience you'll never forget? Here's an example. One experience I'll never forget is my first time speaking English in public. I was nervous. My voice was shaking, and my hands were sweating. But when I finished, people clapped, and I felt so proud. It was like climbing a mountain, difficult, but worth it. That experience gave me courage to keep learning. Now it's your turn. Think of one memory. It can be happy, scary, or exciting. Use the formula. What happened, what it was like, how it made you feel, and what it means to you. Pause and say it out loud. Role play 4. Expressing an abstract idea. I ask, what does happiness mean to you? Here's a model answer. Happiness for me is not about money or success. It's about small things. Drinking hot tea on a rainy day. Talking with a friend until midnight. Walking in the park and hearing birds. Happiness is like sunshine inside you. It makes life brighter, even when the world is dark. Now it's your turn. Choose one abstract idea: happiness, freedom, friendship, or success. Describe it with examples, a comparison, and an emotion. Pause here and speak your answer. Role play 5. Real-life challenge. Imagine you're at a job interview. The interviewer asks, "Can you describe yourself?" A weak answer: "I'm hardworking and friendly." That's okay, but not memorable. A strong answer: "I would describe myself as curious and determined. I love learning new things, and when I start a project, I don't give up until it's finished. My friends say I'm like a problem solver because I always try to find solutions. For example, in my last class project, I worked late nights to help my team finish on time. That made me proud because it showed me I can be reliable." Now it's your turn. Describe yourself. Think of 2 adjectives, give one example, and explain how it makes you feel. Pause and speak now. Tips for practicing role plays effectively. Speak out loud. Don't just think silently. Your mouth needs the practice, not just your brain. Record yourself. Listen again. Notice your strong points and improve your weak points. Don't worry about mistakes. Mistakes are signs of growth. Focus on fluency and description, not perfection. Reuse the same formulas, details, plus senses, plus comparisons, plus emotions. This is your toolkit. Interactive challenge. Now let's try something different. I'll ask you 3 questions in a row. Your challenge is to answer each one with a short but descriptive response. Ready? Question 1. What's your favorite place to relax? Question 2. Who inspires you the most? Question 3. What does success mean to you? Pause after each question and give your answer out loud. Remember, add 1 detail, 1 sense, and 1 emotion. Why role plays are powerful. When you imagine real-life situations, your brain learns faster. It's like practicing for a concert. The more you practice, the more confident you feel when the real moment comes. Role plays also help you think quickly in English, so you don't freeze or translate in your head. And the best part, you can do these role plays anywhere, while walking, cooking, or sitting on the bus. Just imagine a question and practice answering with details, senses, comparisons, and emotions. Summary. In this part, we turned learning into practice. You practiced meeting a new friend, describing a person, sharing an experience, expressing an idea, and answering a real-life challenge. These are skills you can use every day in conversations, interviews, and even international communication. In the next part, we'll take role plays even further. I'll guide you through longer dialogues, where we build a back-and-forth conversation. You'll learn how to not only describe, but also respond naturally, ask questions, and keep the conversation alive. So stay tuned, because the next step will train you to sound truly fluent in real conversations. We've practiced role plays, where you answered questions with rich descriptions. That's a powerful step. But in real life, conversations aren't just one way. They go back and forth. You describe something, the other person reacts, and then you continue. If you only answer and stop, the conversation ends. If you learn to keep the dialogue alive, you'll sound fluent, confident, and engaging. So in this part, we'll practice extended dialogues. I'll model both sides, the question, your answer, and how you can ask back. I'll also show you how to use descriptions naturally inside conversations. Dialogue 1. Talking about travel. Friend. Have you ever traveled abroad? Yes. Last year I went to Thailand. It was amazing. The beaches were full of white sand, and the water was crystal clear. I ate delicious spicy food, and the markets were so colorful. It felt like stepping into another world. Friend. That sounds great. What was your favorite part? My favorite part was riding a boat at night and seeing hundreds of glowing lanterns in the sky. It was magical, almost like a dream. What about you? Have you traveled abroad before? Notice what happened. You didn't just answer. You described with details, senses, and emotions. Then, you asked back. That's how a dialogue continues naturally. Dialogue 2. Talking about hobbies. Classmate. What do you usually do in your free time? I love cooking. For me, cooking is like therapy. The smell of spices, the sound of sizzling vegetables, it makes me feel calm and creative. Recently, I tried making homemade pizza, and it turned out delicious. Classmate. Wow, that's interesting. How long have you been cooking? For about 3 years. At first, I made simple dishes, but now I like experimenting. What about you? Do you like cooking, or do you have another hobby? Here again, you used description to make your hobby come alive. And then you asked a follow-up question. This keeps the conversation balanced. Dialogue 3. Talking about feelings. Coworker. How are you feeling today? You. I feel motivated today. I woke up early. The sun was shining. And I went for a short walk. The fresh air made me feel full of energy. It's like charging my battery before starting work. Coworker. That's nice. I wish I had your energy. You. Sometimes it depends on habits. For me, even a 5-minute walk changes my mood. What usually makes you feel motivated? Here, you described your feeling with senses and comparisons. You also invited the other person to share. This makes the dialogue deeper and more personal. Dialogue 4. Talking about dreams and goals. Teacher, what are your goals for the future? One of my biggest goals is to become fluent in English. For me, English is like a key that opens new doors. I want to travel, connect with people from around the world, and maybe even work abroad. Every time I study, I feel I'm one step closer to that dream. Teacher, that's inspiring. What motivates you to keep learning? I think it's the idea of freedom. Being able to express myself without limits feels amazing. What about you? Teacher, what was your goal when you learned English? This is a dialogue where you share a meaningful answer. Describe your goal with a metaphor, and then return the question. Dialogue 5. Small talk in daily life. Neighbor, nice weather today, isn't it? Yes, it's beautiful. The sky is so clear, and the air feels fresh after the rain. It almost smells like the earth is new again. Days like this make me feel peaceful. Neighbor, I agree. It's perfect for a walk. Exactly. Do you usually go for walks around here when the weather is nice? Even in small talk, descriptions make your words more interesting. Instead of saying yes, nice weather, you give a little more life to your answer, and then extend the conversation with a simple question. Tips for building natural dialogues. Always describe with at least one detail. Don't give empty answers. Add color, sound, or feeling. Ask back. End your turn with a question. This keeps the conversation flowing. Balance. Don't speak too long or too short. Share enough to be interesting, but also give the other person space to respond. React. Show emotions when others speak. Say things like, "That's amazing. I know what you mean," or "That must have been difficult." This makes the dialogue feel real. Practice exercise. Let's practice together. I'll give you 3 dialogue prompts. Answer them out loud, and then add a question at the end. Prompt 1. A friend asks, "What's your favorite food?" Prompt 2. A teacher asks, "What book or movie has influenced you?" Prompt 3. A coworker asks, "How do you usually relax after work?" Remember, give a descriptive answer, then ask back. For example, if someone asks about your favorite food, you can say, "My favorite food is po. The broth is warm and flavorful. The noodles are soft, and the smell of herbs makes me feel at home. It's comfort in a bowl." Have you ever tried it before? Now try the same with the other prompts. Why dialogues matter. Dialogues are the bridge between learning and real communication. You can practice vocabulary and grammar alone, but dialogues teach you how to think on your feet, how to respond naturally, and how to build connections. When you master dialogues, You don't just speak English, you live it. Summary. In this part, we practiced extended dialogues, travel, hobbies, feelings, goals, and small talk. You learn to describe with details, add senses and emotions, and keep the conversation alive by asking back. These skills are what make your English not just correct, but conversational and fluent. In the next part, we'll take everything one step further. I'll show you how to create longer stories and presentations that combine descriptions, dialogues, and clear structure. You'll learn how to engage listeners for several minutes, just like a storyteller, teacher, or presenter. So, stay tuned. The final step is going to be your biggest challenge and your biggest reward. You've come a long way in this journey. We started with simple sentences, learned how to add details, practiced senses, emotions, comparisons, and metaphors. Then we built dialogues. Now, it's time to bring everything together into full storytelling and presentations. Why storytelling? Because human beings are wired for stories. When you tell a story, people lean in, they listen, they remember, and when you tell a story in English, you not only practice description, you also connect with your listeners. Mini story example 1. A childhood memory. When I was a child, I lived near a small river. Every afternoon, I would sit on the bank with my feet in the water. The water was cool, the grass tickled my legs, and dragonflies danced above the surface. It was my secret place of peace. Sometimes, I would bring a book and read while the sun painted the sky orange. Those afternoons still live in my memory, like a picture I can visit anytime. Notice how this story uses senses: cool water, tickling grass, orange sky. It also uses emotion: peace, memory, joy. This makes the listener feel what you felt. Mini story example 2. A travel experience. Last year, I traveled to Japan during spring. The streets were lined with cherry blossom trees, and petals floated in the air like pink snow. I walked slowly, breathing in the delicate fragrance. At night, the lanterns glowed softly, and the city felt both modern and timeless. I remember standing on a bridge, watching the reflection of lights in the river, and feeling like I was inside a painting. Again, vivid senses, comparisons, and emotions bring the story alive. Mini story example 3. A daily moment. Yesterday, I made a cup of coffee in the morning. The smell filled my kitchen, strong and warm. As I sipped it, I looked outside the window. Rain was falling, soft and steady, and the world looked washed and new. For a moment, I felt completely calm. Just me, the coffee, and the sound of the rain. Even an ordinary moment can become a beautiful story when described with detail. How to tell stories step by step. Set the scene. Describe where and when it happens. Use details about place, time, and atmosphere. Add senses. What did you see, hear, smell, touch, or taste? Include emotions. How did you feel? Calm, excited, nervous, happy. Use comparisons. Add metaphors or similes, like a painting, like a dream, like magic. Wrap it up. End with a reflection or thought. What did it mean to you? What did you learn? Mini presentation example. Describing a hobby. Today, I'd like to talk about one of my favorite hobbies, gardening. For me, gardening is more than just planting flowers. It's like creating a living painting. When I step into my garden, I see colors everywhere, bright red roses, soft purple lavender, and fresh green leaves. The air is full of fragrance, and I can hear bees buzzing around happily. Gardening makes me feel calm and proud because I can see life growing day by day. It teaches me patience and care. That's why I love it so much. This is not just answering a question, it's giving a short presentation, full of descriptive language. Practice activity for you. Now it's your turn. Take one of these topics and tell a mini story or mini presentation out loud. A place you love, a meal you enjoyed, a day you will never forget. Remember to set the scene, add senses, share emotions, use comparisons, and wrap up with meaning. Why this matters. When you learn to describe anything from your breakfast to your biggest dream, you unlock the full power of English. You're not just practicing grammar. You're painting pictures with words, sharing emotions, and connecting with people. That's what language is truly for. Think about this. If someone asks you, "How was your day?" and you answer, "Fine," the conversation dies. But if you say, "My day was great. The morning sun made everything golden. I finished an important task, and later I laughed so hard with my friend that my stomach hurt suddenly," you're alive in the conversation. People want to listen to you. That's the power of description. Final encouragement. As you finish this series, I want you to remember, you can describe anything in English, no matter your level. Start simple, then add detail. Use senses, emotions, and comparisons. Practice in dialogues. Practice in stories. Practice in small presentations. Every time you describe, you're training your brain to think in English, to feel in English, to live in English. Don't worry about mistakes. Fluency is built step by step, description by description. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. So the next time you see something, don't just look at it, describe it. Don't just eat a meal, describe it. Don't just feel an emotion, describe it. This is how you will grow from beginner to advanced and beyond. Closing. Thank you for staying with me through this entire journey. I hope you've discovered not just techniques, but also confidence and joy in using English. Remember, every detail matters, every story matters, and your voice matters. This is MindPop English, and I'm here to help you speak English with clarity, beauty, and confidence. Keep practicing, keep describing, and keep shining. See you in the next lesson.